Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to the first video as a mum. We have now had our daughter. Oh god, I feel emotional about it. She arrived on the 13th of July, a Saturday, and we are so happy. We are very sleep deprived, but we are very, very happy. And she's down here at the moment, lying next to me in the sleepy head. And hopefully she'll let me film this video. Yeah, so exciting. Can't believe she's here. But what a journey, I tell you. So this video is going to be my induction story. I'm going to do a separate one on my actual birth, so if you're not bothered about hearing the induction, then miss this video out. But if you are, then keep watching. So it is a little bit long-winded. I've written things down in this book, and I'm not joking, it goes on and on. But it's just because I didn't want to miss anything. Hang on a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Also, I forgot to say, our little girl is called Nellie Ray Holmes, and she was born on the Saturday 13th of July at 7:06 in the morning, and she weighed 7 pounds 6, and just, it was honestly, it was the nicest moment with all the love and all of that. And anyway, I'm gonna tell you all about that on a separate video. So like I said, this is my induction story. It's very long-winded. It is a bit too much information, so if you're a man or you don't want to hear any sort of gory details, or you know, if you're one of my parents or anything like that, then don't bother listening or watching. But if you feel like you can handle it, then here you go. So this is something I hadn't mentioned on here because we just kind of kept it to ourselves, but from 30 weeks I was having a lot of reduced movements, so I wouldn't feel the baby very much. I did have an anterior placenta, which means my placenta was at the front, so the movements could have been reduced because of that, and because I couldn't feel it because of that, but they were never sure. So the first time I went into the hospital, I went on my own. Charlie met me there, and they hooked me up to an ECG monitor, so you get, it's the bands that they put around your tummy. One does any sort of contractions or tightenings, as they call them, and the other one does the baby's heart rate. I was trying to say beat and rate at the same time. You also get a little thing to click when you feel a movement. So they have what they call it a trace. A bit of paper comes out and it monitors everything, and everything was fine. So she said to me, if you ever feel like that again, come straight back. So I think 2 days later, I still hadn't really felt the baby move much, and we went back. And this kept happening. It would happen like twice, maybe 2 nights in a row, or every other night, and then I'd have 2 weeks of like fine movements and everything would be okay again. I had to have extra scans because of it. And I had to have extra scans because of it, and just to check my placenta was working okay and everything was fine, and with the baby everything was always okay, and it was quite nice to see it extra. And I also had a couple of appointments with a consultant just to see like what the next steps should be. So as my weeks were going on, the pattern kind of kept happening. I'd have 2 weeks where she was fine, then a couple of days where she wasn't, and then when I went to my last consultant appointment, he said that he wasn't going to let me go past my due date. They would induce me before then. I had an appointment 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks after that. That was a few days before my due date, and they were going to look at inducing me then. But we actually didn't make that appointment. So that was that. So the Saturday before the Sunday, the week before I had her, we went in for a standard appointment with the midwife. Did heart rate, checked the growth, like checked my bump, checked where she was, all of the usual stuff. And she said, you're seeing Mr. Pooley on Thursday, which was the consultant, but do you want to have a sweep today just to see if we can get anything moving? And me and Charlie looked at each other like, oh my god, this is quite real now, because I was 38 weeks, I was going to be 39 weeks on the Monday. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll have a sweep. And you know, some people told me it was horrible, some people told me it was fine. I found it was fine. I just breathed through it, did my nice deep breaths, and my cervix was quite far back and not open at all, so she tried to stretch it a bit. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? But it was fine, all over. Didn't do anything, unless it would have done anything if we'd waited, but when you hear the rest of this story, you'll probably realise it wouldn't have helped. So, let me find this out. Written lots and lots of stuff. So, the next day, so that day we went to a family barbecue with Charlie's family, all lovely. Baby was moving a little bit. I remember seeing her move like under my dress and being like, look at my tummy. And then the next day, not a lot of movement again. We waited till about 9:30 in the evening, and I was like, I'm just not happy with this. Shall we just phone? Even though we knew induction could happen, I don't think we actually thought it would. So we rang, they said, usual, come in, bring your notes. So I brought my notes, got hooked up to the ECG, and she started moving a little bit, which always used to happen. So like, I'd been not feeling it for ages, then all of a sudden, like as soon as I get hooked up to the monitor, I'd be like clicking my thing away, and I'd be like thinking, God, she makes me look like I'm just going mad. But weird. I don't know whether it's because they like moved my tummy about or what, but so the doctor comes in to speak to us, and she said, look, because by this point it was meant to be like 10:30. She said, if you came in an hour and a half later, you'd be 39 weeks and we would be inducing you. So you're seeing the consultant on Thursday anyway, let's just start the induction tonight. So I was like, oh, okay. And I'd watched like a couple of videos about induction. My friend had recently been induced, and she'd been in hospital for 5 days and ended up having a C-section. A couple of my friends that had happened to, like other friends. And I thought, oh my God, like, is it going to be really awful? But in my head, I was just like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm going to be induced, it's going to happen really quickly, and it's going to be fine. Obviously, my birth plan with the water birth had kind of gone out the window by this point. I was thinking, well, that's obviously not going to happen, but never mind. I was well aware that your birth plan changes, and I just wanted the baby out safely. That was my whole thing anyway. Oh dear. I'm going to hold her while we film this. We're not putting her on social media, so you won't see her face. Oh, there we go. She's in a very mismatchy outfit as well today. I was like, oh, she won't be on camera, it'll be fine. But I've ordered her some leggings that go with this top, because pink and yellow I just don't think really go. Anyway, right, so I said, look, I'm not prepared, my bags are at home, like they were packed, but I wanted to just have my final moments at home. I wanted to get my final bump picture with Charlie, and all that kind of thing. So they said, right, we don't have a bed on the antenatal ward anyway at the moment, so go home, get yourself something to eat, chill out for a little bit, then come back in a few hours. So that's what we did. We came home, we watched Love Island, and we just had a bit of a chill, got our stuff ready, got a nice picture of us together, and off we went back to the hospital. And I think we got back to the hospital about 2:30, I'm not really sure. But by 3 o'clock we got straight into antenatal, into the ward, got a section of the ward, like, little, you know, curtain around it and stuff. Charlie was going to go home, which he did, and the midwife said to me, right, explained what we're going to do. She said, we're going to examine you. If your cervix is open at all, then we will take you to labour ward and break your waters, and then we'll start you on the hormone drip. Okay. That wasn't the case. They said if that hadn't happened, then we're going to put a pessary in, and they're going to leave that in for 24 hours. So my cervix was totally closed. They put a pessary in, which was fine, and that was going to be until 3 o'clock the next day in the following morning. So this was 3 in the morning they put it in, and it was going to be 3 the next morning. So in the meantime, Charlie went home. They hooked me up to the ECG, and to check everything was fine and it hadn't like caused any distress to the baby. She was fine. Good. She was happy as Larry. Not a problem the whole way through induction or labour or anything. Just totally fine. Yeah. So they said every 6 hours we're going to hook you up. We're going to come and do your blood pressure, your temperature, and we'll monitor you for half an hour. So at 9 the next morning, Charlie I think was back, or maybe he had to go to work for an hour. I'm not sure, but I hadn't had much sleep. Sleeping on a ward like that is not fun, because people were in and out, people were having contractions, people were really hurting. people were getting monitored at all different times, the lights were going on and off, and I was like, the next day I think Charlie brought me some earplugs from home because it was just a nightmare trying to sleep. But anyway, so that's that. So that was the Sunday night, and then the Monday morning, well, was it Tuesday morning? I suppose it was early Tuesday morning. Was it? No, Monday. I don't really know now. But 3 o'clock in the morning on the Monday night, yes. So we'd been wandering around the hospital. I'd been bouncing on a ball. Nothing was really happening. Had no contractions. Then she pulled the pessary out at 3 in the morning, and it was actually the midwife that I first ever seen at the hospital. That on my very first appointment when I was like 7-8 weeks. And I was like, oh, it's you. And she said, oh, I remember you from back like in November or December or whenever it was. And I was like, yeah. And she's northern, you know, northerners just click. So she pulled out my pessary, she examined me, she said, no, I can barely get a fingertip in there, we'll put the next thing in. So the next thing is, now I can't remember what different things are called, so let me tell you. I think one's called Propess and one's called something else. They both begin with a P. Prostin. I can't remember which is which, but basically they put a gel in instead. This, I don't think it did anything. So I had that in for 6 hours. So that was until 9 in the morning. And then was that right? Yeah, then I had another one put in till 3 in the afternoon. So that was the Tuesday. I think I'd started having contractions, did I? No, so that still didn't do anything. But the next one, the doctor had to check, because that meant I'd had 3 kind of cycles of things. So we waited for the doctor, and he didn't actually see us until 10 to 1 in the morning. So he was meant to come and see us at 3 in the afternoon. So which meant I was meant to have this thing in for 6 hours, and I'd had it in for what? 4, 5, 6, 16. So the midwife had said, look, the next steps is you either wait 24 hours and start the whole process again and have another 24-hour pessary, or we had to do a C-section. Well, to be honest, after a few days of being monitored and things being poked up my downstairs, I was like, I just want a C-section. Nothing's really happening. It's not feeling very nice down there now, because you can imagine all these hormones and stuff going up you, and I was like, oh, I don't really want it. And I didn't want to be on the ward. The food wasn't very nice. Like, I am a fussy eater, but even Charlie was like, that food looks horrible. So I was like, okay, right. Spoke to the doctor 10 to 1 in the morning. He'd already been down the rest of the ward, seeing other people, examining other people, and people were like screaming and like being like, oh, and I was thinking, oh my god, one person had gas in air. I was thinking, oh my god, this person's coming to me next. I looked at Charlie, I was like, what is he gonna do? Anyway, same as everyone else, I said to the midwife, I said, look, I've just heard 2 other women scream down there. She went, you will be fine, you are strong and you'll breathe through it. I was like, okay. And she said, and he's got tiny hands. I was like, oh, phew. So anyway, he comes along. Hi, can I examine you? Is it okay if I go ahead? And you know, you're really thinking, I don't really want you to, but you know, I know you've got to do your job. So he examined me and he said, right, it's not worked again. You're still not even half a centimetre. I was like, for God's sake. So this had been Sunday night, Monday night, and this was now Tuesday night. He said, look, could refer you and do an elective C-section, but you're young, I don't think we should do it. There's no other need to do it. And I was like thinking, oh, for God's sake. So you kind of like shoved it away. I was like, right, okay, so what we need to do is wait 24 hours, have a rest period of 24 hours, then we'll start the whole thing again with the 24-hour pessary. Well, Charlie piped up and said, hang on a minute. All right, hang on a minute. She's waited 16 hours already. Can we, oh, well, it was 10 hours, 10, 11 hours extra. Surely we can put it in earlier. And he was like, oh, yes, actually, yes, we can. So I was having it put in at, I don't know what time it was, actually. Let me see if I've written it down. Oh, it was like 2 or 3 the next day. So this point, Charlie said, look, we've waited around a lot today. can we possibly go home for a bit in the morning? Ash can have like a proper shower, because I could shower there, but the showers weren't very good and they just soaked the whole of the bathroom, so I felt bad, like, because people were coming in afterwards to use the toilet and it was just soaking. He said, look, yeah, you can. I think he felt bad. I don't think anyone else that I know has ever been allowed to go home in the middle of an induction, but he said, leave all your stuff here, go back, get monitored at 7 in the morning, go home, make sure you're back by the afternoon for 2 o'clock. So that's what we did. Charlie came and picked me up. I remember trying to get in the car, just was so uncomfortable. And I think still by this point, I don't think I'd been having any sort of contractions. Had I? Maybe Tuesday I did. Sorry, with the second lot of gel, I did have contractions and I started crying because I just didn't know what they were, and it was going all down my legs, on my front, on my back, and I ended up having some codridamol that night, I think, because they'd started, but then they stopped. So, went home, had a shower, washed my hair, felt lovely. Had a few hours of proper sleep, and then we went back to the hospital, got the 24-hour pessary put back in, walked down the corridor to the restaurant cafe thing that we've been going to. So yeah, every time we'd be going to this cafe, we've been sitting outside and it was getting more painful to like walk there and sit down, and within half an hour this definitely started working and I was definitely having some sort of contractions, and I was just so uncomfortable, like my vagina, I hate saying that word, my vagina was so swollen and sore, like from where I'd had all this stuff put up me, and I was just so uncomfortable. But anyway, I had 24 hours, so the following day about 2-3 o'clock it was going to get taken out. Maybe it was that night I had painkillers. I think it was. There was one night I definitely had some sort of painkillers so I could sleep. So Charlie went home. The following day, it was Thursday, and in the morning I remember going to the toilet, and then something dripped out of me onto the floor, and I was thinking, oh my god, is that my waters? Like, is it? I didn't know what it was. So I opened the door. My cubicle was right opposite the toilet, so I was like, babe, you've got to come and see this. I was like, look, what's just come out of me? And so you've got the midwife, and she was like, oh, I think it's some of your mucus plug. These are just delightful kind of sayings, aren't they? Delightful words. Some of your mucus plug, don't worry about it. Next thing I know, the whole bloody pessary is fallen out of me and is on the floor in the bathroom. So she said, look, we'll examine you, we'll see if anything's happened. We might be able to break your waters already, but if not, we'll have to put a new one in until 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever time it was. I was like, okay. So she examined me, still nothing, put another one in, waited till then. We were watching Glee on Netflix, we were bouncing about, I was trying to walk about, but it was really, really getting uncomfortable by that point. And I was just fed up, to be honest. I was just really fed up. So we went to was it the midwife or the doctor? I think the doctor checked me that time because it had been another round and everything. And by that point, the midwife had come and prepped me and said, look, you're going to have to make a decision whether you carry on and have more of the gel, or you opt for a C-section if nothing's happened. To be honest, I had no hope by that point. I thought, nothing is gonna have changed. I'm still gonna be no dilation at all. And I was right, and I know that's not the right attitude, but the way things were going, I was like, I'm just not really hopeful that this has actually worked. So she said, look, still you're not even half a centimetre, what do you want to do? And I said, I can't do any more. I'm not happy carrying on with this. I'd rather have a C-section. She said, right, that's fine. We've got a few elected C-sections booked for tomorrow, so we'll give you a time slot tomorrow morning. In the meantime, from 10 o'clock tonight, you're nil by mouth and you can't eat anything. Only a few sips of water. I was like, right, that's fine. So I was kind of pleased. We'd made the decision. It wasn't an easy decision to make. I didn't want that to happen, but that's the way it was going, and I was just like, you know what, I would just need her out safely, and that's fine. So in the meantime, the doctor left. We said to the midwife, I think I got put on the monitor again for half an hour, and I said, look, can I go home? I know I've got to be back tomorrow. She said, well, you can't go home, but you can go for a walk and I don't know where you've gone. So we were like, okay, sneaky. She said, as long as you're back by 9 o'clock tonight for me to monitor you again, no problem. So we wanted to go home because I was sick of the food, I wanted something proper to eat, and I wanted to have a bath and soothe my foof. So got in the car. It was hard work getting in the car. I was trying to sit up. The way home, there was a lot of speed bumps. We tried to pick an easy route that it wasn't going to take long to get home, but also I wanted to avoid lots of speed bumps. We didn't manage that because around where we live there's speed bumps everywhere. It's all, you know, very bumpy roads. So Charlie's trying to go over them slowly. I'm thinking something has just dripped out of me, but I think it's probably just like all this gel and stuff like that's been up there. I was having contractions in the car and I was thinking, oh, this is all a bit weird. But anyway, I was still happy to go home and have a bath. I couldn't wait. So we got in, got straight up the stairs, started running the bath, stripped everything off. We were looking at my bump in the mirror, and then I went, oh, I think I really need the loo. So I went to go through to the bathroom. I stood in the doorway and all of a sudden there was an almighty gush and my waters broke all over the bathroom floor. So bearing in mind, I had been told for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 days of induction that they couldn't break my waters because my cervix wasn't open at all, and then they've done it on their own. So I'm thinking, well, would they have gone on their own anyway? I'm not sure, but so I was like, babe, come here, my waters have just broke. And you know, emotions were high. I just burst into tears. I think in my head I kind of thought, oh, I've got away with this, I'm gonna have a C-section, although, you know, C-section is not what I wanted. I knew I wasn't gonna have to push the baby out. It was just gonna be just gonna be a harder recovery. Why am I so blurry? Whereas now the reality was, oh my god, I'm gonna actually have to push the baby out. I started crying. Charlie comes in and was going, you need to knock the bath off, you need to knock the bath off. And I was thinking, I can't move. It just kept coming and coming. All this stuff. It was all over the floor. Charlie said, right, here's some knickers, put your knickers on. In my state that I was in, I went, whose knickers are they? Well, of course they were my knickers. He's going, they're your knickers. But I think in my head I was thinking, I need a fresh pair of knickers because my waters have obviously been going in the car and I've not noticed. So get myself all back on, knock the bath off, gutted I couldn't have a bath. I also never got to eat anything and I'd missed dinner at the hospital, so I was bloody starving. Get back to the hospital, hunt down the midwife that told me I could go home, sneak home. And she went, brilliant, right, okay, well, you put onto the monitor, we'll keep an eye on your contractions. And I was like, okay. And then she said, I've just spoken to the doctor, we're still going to go ahead with the C-section tomorrow. So I'm thinking, well, why? But at the same time, I was just like, okay, accepting of the matter. And I said, well, I haven't eaten, when can I eat by? You need to not be eating by 10 o'clock. Right, no problem. So me and Charlie went to the vending machine. I got some Worcester sauce flavoured French fries and devoured them. And then a new midwife, she put me on the monitor. The new midwife came and she put me, she forgot about me. She actually forgot about me. For 2.5 hours I was on that monitor, sat in my waters, leaked all over the bed, and Charlie went and had to go and speak to someone and say, look, Ashley is there, she's leaked all her waters everywhere, she needs to change her covers, she needs a shower, she's desperate for a wee, no one's been to see it. I know I should have just pressed the call button, like thinking about it now, why didn't I just press that? But I think I thought I was like annoying people, but actually that was really not a nice way, not a nice start of everything. So got everything changed, had something to eat. I think I must have eaten later. Still got told I was nil by mouth. Right, no problem. Charlie went home. Coming back the next day for a C-section. All very exciting. We were thinking, right, this is finally... Because the first time I was at the hospital, I was like, I won't be leaving this hospital now without a baby. But I'd actually left twice more. So this was like reality, that I am not going to be leaving without a baby now. So, yeah, Charlie went home. 11:30 came and I was just about to go to sleep. I put my earplugs in, took my glasses off, and the doctor comes in. Hi Ashley, this is the same doctor, by the way, that had done my examination and told me I needed to start the whole process again. I see your waters have broken on their own. I was like, yes. He went, well, this is great news. We're not going to do a C-section tomorrow now. And I was thinking, hang on a minute. This other doctor told me I'm still doing a C-section. We'll take you to labour ward at some point tonight or tomorrow morning. I was like, oh, but Charlie's just gone home. No worries. We won't do anything until he gets there. But that's the plan. You can have the baby naturally. I was like, oh, okay. And he went, and good news, you can eat now. I'm thinking it's 11:30. I'm not bothered about eating now, but I was like pleased that I could at least have breakfast in the morning. I was like, right, okay. So rang Charlie, told him. He said, should I come back now? I was like, no, they're not going to do anything till you get here anyway. But I actually never got taken there until 11:30 the following morning. So by that time, Charlie came back, got hooked up to the monitor another couple of times, whatever, and I'd had breakfast, packed all my stuff away, I'd had a shower, got myself sorted, and then my contractions started coming quite bad again. So I had some codridamol. I never got gas and air, I never got pethidine, any of that stuff whilst I was on antenatal. I just had codridamol, which I think is paracetamol and cocodamol or something like that. But just as we were about to go for a walk, a midwife came along and said, stop right there, we are taking you to labour ward. And we were like, hallelujah. So excited. The walk up to labour ward just felt so silly, like so, I don't know, it was because we'd been waiting that whole time, that all them 5 days to go. We were like, oh, this is actually happening. Got put in our own room, and that was the start of all of that. So it'd been a long hard slog till then, and I was so happy to be leaving that bit of the ward and to start the actual labour properly. But yeah, that is my induction story. I would not say that it was painful. For me, it wasn't. Some people I've heard have said, oh my God, I got this put inside me and it throbbed and it hurt and it burned. It didn't do that to me. Like, and I know everyone must be different. Everyone's got different pain thresholds. Apparently I've got a high pain threshold. That's what I got told, which buzzing about. Because I didn't know that. I just thought I'd be total weakling and moany about everything. But no, it's quite strong. Yeah, also this whole process, we've done a lot of walking about. I'll try and insert a clip of me going up sideways, up and down the stairs. I have posted that on my Instagram for everyone to have a giggle at. Charlie put on some inspirational music for me. And yeah, like my contraction started and I was a bit shocked, I think, because I just thought, oh my God, this is actually happening and it's actually quite sore. But I think my breathing techniques were quite good and I kind of just breathed through it. There was one point where I was bent over Charlie and he obviously didn't realise I was having a contraction, and he was going, oh babe, can you stroke my hair? And I'm like contracting, being like, and he's going, oh sorry, you're having a contraction, but you know, I'm still trying to stroke his head. There's another moment where, you know, me and Charlie have a right laugh, and we did have a right laugh this whole week. He quoted High School Musical when he's going to me, he's cuddling me going, look, it's okay, we're all in this together. And I was like, yeah, and he's going, wildcats everywhere, wave your hands up in the air. Well, I was hurting to laugh, but I was cracking up. Yeah, the whole thing wasn't as bad as some people make out. Obviously it's different for everyone. I didn't scream, I didn't find the examinations uncomfortable, well, sore, painful, they were uncomfortable. But if you're about to have an induction, just remember to breathe, stay calm. Could take ages, might happen really quickly. I was there on that ward for the bloody longest out of anyone that came in that week. People were in and out. I felt like Rachel on Friends when she sees all these people come in and have their baby before her. But it's done. I've had it, everything's fine, and I look forward to telling you the labour story in my next video. So if you did like this, if you've got anything to add or tell me about your experience underneath, comment below. Please give it a like if you have liked it, and I will see you in my next video, which will be my labour story. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.